Therapy can be life-changing, but only if we show up to it with the right mindset. It's not magic. It's not a quick fix. It's not someone else doing the healing for you. And that's where many people get stuck. If you've ever felt like therapy didn't work, or that you didn't click with your therapist or didn't know what you were supposed to say, you're not alone. These aren't failures. They're common missteps. Today, we're going to talk about 5 mistakes people make in therapy. Not to judge, but to help you get the most out of your healing process. Because therapy isn't just about showing up. It's about how you show up. Mistake number 1. Expecting the therapist to fix you. One of the biggest and most understandable mistakes people make in therapy is showing up with the quiet expectation that the therapist will fix them. It's not a selfish wish. When you're hurting, overwhelmed, or stuck, you just want someone to make it stop. But here's the truth. Therapy isn't about someone else pulling you out of your pain. It's about learning how to walk through it with support. Therapists don't give you all the answers. They help you ask better questions. They don't prescribe a perfect version of you. They help you understand the one that's already here. Healing in therapy is collaborative. You get what you're willing to bring: honesty, curiosity, and willingness to do the emotional heavy lifting. The therapist holds the light. You still have to walk the path. Mistake number 2, hiding the ugly parts. Another common mistake is the urge to curate your story to only share the polished, presentable, socially acceptable pieces. Maybe you downplay your anger. Maybe you avoid the memories that carry shame. Maybe you joke when you actually want to cry. This isn't manipulation. It's protection. Most people hide because they're afraid of being judged, even by their therapist. But therapy can only reach the parts of you that you're willing to reveal. Growth doesn't happen in performance. It happens in truth. And the parts of you you're most afraid to show? That's often where the healing lives. A good therapist doesn't flinch at your darkness. In fact, they'll help you understand that it's never been something to hide from. It's been something to understand. Mistake number 3, waiting for a breakthrough moment. Thanks to Hollywood and social media, a lot of people walk into therapy expecting a big aha moment, the one session where everything suddenly makes sense. You cry once, and you leave healed. That's not how it works. Real therapy is subtle. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's uncomfortable. And often progress feels like nothing is happening. Until one day, something shifts. You respond differently. You catch a trigger before it controls you. You say no for the first time and mean it. Therapy isn't about breakthroughs. It's about micro movements. The real work happens in the weeks where you feel stuck, when you keep showing up anyway. That's where the rewiring happens. Not in one magical insight, but in the slow, steady commitment to self-awareness. Mistake number 4, not talking about the therapist-therapy relationship. This one gets overlooked, but it's critical. People often avoid talking about the therapy itself, especially if they feel disconnected from the therapist, misunderstood, or confused by how sessions are going. Therapy is a relationship. And just like any relationship, communication is key. If you're feeling like your therapist isn't quite getting you, or something they said rubbed you the wrong way, or the format isn't working, say something. A good therapist will welcome that conversation. Therapy about therapy is still therapy. And often, how you show up in that dynamic, with fear, avoidance, people-pleasing, or silence, reflects the exact patterns you're there to work on. Speaking up in therapy is one of the most healing acts of self-advocacy you can practice. Mistake number 5, quitting too soon. The last big mistake is leaving therapy too early, especially after one uncomfortable session or when things start to feel too real. Growth is uncomfortable, and sometimes therapy can feel worse before it feels better. Why? Because you're pulling up roots. You're unlearning survival habits. You're confronting beliefs that have lived inside you for years. That doesn't happen in 6 sessions. That doesn't happen without resistance. People often leave just before they hit a turning point, not because therapy isn't working, but because it is. But if you can hang in there, if you can ride the wave, if you can allow yourself to feel the hard stuff without running, you'll often find that the freedom you were looking for was right on the other side of that discomfort. Therapy is a slow blooming. Give it time to grow. Therapy is not about being perfect. It's not about performing insight or always saying the right thing. It's about being real, even when that realness is messy, scared, or uncertain. If you've made one of these mistakes, you're not alone. Most people do. That doesn't mean therapy failed. It just means the process is human, and healing is layered. If you've been thinking about going to therapy or returning after a pause, let this video be a gentle reminder. Therapy works best when you stop trying to get it right and start showing up honestly. Because the parts of you that feel broken, they don't need fixing. They need witnessing. If you found this video helpful, be sure to give it a like, share it with someone, and be sure to check out our other mental health education videos.